Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is an unusual one, but very important. It's how to recognize a true message from God. Right now, when anybody can just jump up and open up a YouTube channel, and all of a sudden they're hearing from God and they're getting these dreams and visions or these words from God. And it seems like everybody and their brothers are doing it. Well, the question becomes, how do you tell the real from the fake? How do you tell the genuine from just somebody had some bad pizza? Okay. So I'm going to show you today some things that will help you to discern that. Before I get into that, let me say that here's what happened. I said we weren't going to have sponsors anymore, but Genesis Gold called me from 800-200 Gold, and they said, no. We want to help Prophecy Club. I said, you do? He said, absolutely. So we'll continue to support them and send people to them. So if you do have an IRA or a 401k, or if you're in need of gold or silver, 800-200 Gold, and yeah, it helps your Prophecy Club. Now, let me say the next thing. The program I'm going to be reading from today is partly Dumitru Duduman's testimony, but it's this book. This is right here, okay? And I think that outside the Bible, the most important book for a person to get would be this one. We'll talk about that in a second. But the second most important one outside the Bible would be this one. Why? Because this has Dumitru Duduman's testimony, Terry Bennett, Mike, all these people here listed, all of their prophetic dreams and visions right here. And as I'm going to go through, I'm going to read some of those from Dumitru today. You're going to say, I got to have a copy of it. You're right. You do have to have a copy of it. And we offer this book in shrink wrap sets of 5, $35. Don't get one for 20. Same thing here. Don't get one for 20. We offer these in shrink wrap sets of 5 also at prophecyclub.com. Now, I'll talk more about the rest of the books at the end of it. Let me get on to the main thing I want to talk about today. Okay, now let's go to the text. Now, before I actually get to reading what you're looking at, let me tell you the background. So this is the testimony of Dumitru Duduman. He was called by God to smuggle Bibles into Romania and Russia. He did that for 30 years. They followed him step by step. They couldn't catch him, so finally they arrested him, put him through 5 months of torture, culminating in them putting him on the electric chair. As he's on the electrical chair, the whole room lit up with white light. The angel Gabriel showed up in the room and said, you're not going to die. You're going to America to give them a warning from God. Plead the blood of Jesus. So he started saying, Sinjalulu Isus, Sinjalulu Isus, which is Romanian for the blood of Jesus. He woke up on the floor. They're pouring water on him, slapping him around. The next day, they put him back on the electric chair twice. Could not kill him. 3 months later, the angel came to him in the night, healed him up, and said, get busy. You have 4 more years to carry Bibles. They will follow you step by step, but I'll be ahead of you and I will blind their eyes. When they see they can't catch you, they're going to kick you out of your country. You're going to America to give them a warning from God. When he arrived, and by the way, the angel told him the year, month, day, and hour he'll be exiled. It all came to pass. When he arrived in America, August 3rd, 1984, the angel came to him and gave him this message. Showed him all of California, New York, and Florida. He said, all of this is Sodom and Gomorrah, and one day it will burn. He said, how will it burn? He said, America is so powerful. He said, the fall of America will start with an internal revolution in America started by the communists. Some of the people will start fighting against the government. The government will be busy with internal problems. Then from the oceans, Russia, Cuba, Nicaragua, Central America, Mexico, and 2 of the countries will attack and defeat America in 1 hour. Now, I've said that many a time, but I haven't read these. These are the other messages that the angel would bring to him from time to time. Let's go first. January 21, 1995. He was in Romania at the time. He said, I fell asleep sometime around midnight, about 2 a.m. I heard a loud voice saying to me, Dumitru, wake up. I must show you something. He said, even though I was ill, I jumped to my feet without realizing I was awake. Then I realized I wasn't in Romania anymore. I was in America. A powerful voice spoke sternly. Why have you become discouraged? Why did you try to question God, thinking in your heart, I have left you? Why did you keep so much sadness in your heart and such great mourning because I took your wife? Why have you allowed yourself to become discouraged so that you will no longer be able to work for me as you have in the past? This is why I've come to you, to show you a revelation, which you must tell the American people. The voice boomed to me, telling me to look to the right. I was awake, not sleeping. I was standing and I turned my head as ordered. When I looked, I saw that there was a great flock of black birds, very sharp, large beaks. Out of the beaks came a blinding light, which I could barely look at. From their tails, I saw flames of fire shooting out. I became very frightened. I rubbed my eyes, thinking I was asleep and dreaming, but I was neither sleeping nor dreaming. This flock of birds suddenly turned into airplanes that did not make any noise. American airplanes would go up trying to attack, but as they draw close, they would fall to the earth in a blaze of fire. Once again, I heard the voice that I could not see who was speaking to me. The voice said, "Look higher than the black planes." When I looked above the planes, I saw a helicopter which covered above them. On the side of the helicopter, there was a plank like on a ship where soldiers were lined up, dressed in black, all armed the same, about the same size. From the center of the helicopter, a platform began to rise up. It rose higher than the helicopter itself. On the platform was a throne. The Pope was on the throne, yelling with a loud voice, "I've been given the power to rule the earth and fight against the Protestants, that I may overtake them." As I watched him with terror and fear, because he was surrounded by a powerful force, which was formed by planes and personnel, suddenly a white cloud appeared and covered them. So I was no longer able to see anything, but out of the midst of the cloud came a man dressed in shiny clothes, wearing a shiny crown on his head. He spoke, saying, this voice sounded like thunder. When I heard his voice, I fell to the ground. He said, "Remember everything you've heard, everything you've seen, and everything you will hear. Tell my people, because once again I want to work with you more than I have until now. The armies of the planes that you saw are the beast and the beast that sat on the helicopter. These are the Catholic powers which will overtake the holy, that the words prophesied in Revelation may come to pass. The majority of my people will be overtaken and trampled because their lives are not clean before their Lord. Tell this message to them, do not be quiet. For if you are quiet, I will punish you, because the churches are fraudulent and fake. They live a life as their hearts desire, with their hands stained in blood, adultery, sodomy, worshiping strange and foreign gods. Because they have forsaken the true God, he's allowed them to go as their hearts desired. Now, tell them, cry out loud, tell them to stop treading the path of their heart's desire, to repent with all of their hearts, that in the day of the beast's anger I may be able to save them, so they will not deny me. The time is very short, and the army of their salvation is already prepared." Again he spoke to me, "Look to your right." When I looked, I saw a vast army that my eyes could not encompass. This is the army I have prepared to save my people from the beast's grasp. Do not forget to tell them the words that I have told you. I will give you a spirit of remembrance. The voice continued speaking to me. I will come and bring you more revelations about the times of the end. And I heard thunder and a white cloud being disappeared. Now, all of this, that's the wrong book. That's a good book to get. All of this is in this book, prophecyclub.com. It's called God's Warnings to America. Now let's jump to the next one. 1997, 2 days before taking my father to the hospital, I heard his voice in the early morning hours. This is his daughter, Virginia Boldea. I saw something. As usual, I got my recorder and went to his bedside. He wouldn't let me record it. I don't remember everything he said, but I would like to share what I do remember. My father said, "The Lord showed me a very large bear," meaning Russia. "It was as large a building. It began to do battle with an unarmed man. That would be American NATO. Do you see what I've shown you?" A voice said, "This is how it will be when the hardships come over America. No one will be able to defend her. Only those that trust in me will be spared. Everything will start as a heavy rain on a sunny day at a time that you least expect it." There was more, but I do not remember the rest. Now let's jump to The Bear Awakes, the last of 3 final messages given to Dumitru Duduman in April 1997. I knelt beside my bed to pray, as I do every night before I go to sleep. After finishing my prayer, I opened my eyes, but I was no longer in my room. Instead, I found myself in a forest. I looked around, and to my right I saw a man dressed in white, who pointed his finger and said, "See and remember." It took a while for me to find out what he was pointing at. It was a small bear, seemed half dead, lying on the ground. As I continued to watch the bear, it began to breathe deeper. With every passing minute, it seemed to revive itself. And as I watched it, it became angrier. Then it began to grow. Soon it was larger than the forest floor, and as it grew larger, it continued to become angrier. Obviously, this is Russia. It then began to paw the ground so that when the paw would hit the ground, the earth would shudder. The bear continued to devastate all that stood in its path until it came upon some men with sticks, that would be NATO, trying to fend it off. By this time, the bear had grown so large it simply crushed the men underfoot and continued to rampage. I was stunned by what I saw and asked the man standing beside me, "What does this mean?" At first, they thought the bear was dead. The man said, "As it will grow, as it will begin to stir once again, and they will consider it harmless. Suddenly it will grow strong once more with purpose and violence. God will blind the eyes of those who can continue to trample on the sacrifice of Christ's blood," that would be America, "until the day the bear strikes swiftly. This day will catch them unprepared, as it will be just as you saw." The man then said, "Tell my people the days are numbered and the sentence has been passed. If they will seek my face and walk in righteousness before me, I will open their eyes that they may see the danger approach. If they only look to the approaching danger, they too will be caught up and trampled underfoot. Only in righteousness will they find safety." Suddenly I was once again by myself in my room on my knees with sweat covering my face. November 22, 1995. By the way, you can get all of them in this book, okay? It was as if I was in Israel. A tall man came, took me by the hand, and said, "Come, let me show you the holy city." When we reached the holy city, all of it was covered in black netting from top to bottom. On top, at its peak, this city had a black flag. After seeing these things, I asked the man that was with me, "What does this mean?" "Look up and you will see the meaning," he said. When I looked up, I saw a black emblem. On there was gold writing, and it said, "Israel. You dishonor me and you mock me. You trust in the powers of men. Because you will not return to me, I have this against you. I will punish you with a great fury. This is also to purify some who want to call on me with a clean heart. The shame and the blasphemy that they have caused has reached heaven." After I read these things, the man standing beside me said, "Let us leave this place, or we too will be caught up in the wrath." It seemed I was suddenly on an American plane, which was about to land with me in California. When I was about to disembark, I heard sirens howling loudly, and a great sound of many plane engines was heard. The man with me said, "The punishment draws closer. Look closely and read." When I looked up, I saw a written scroll appear above my eyes. The writing was in Romanian, and it said, "American people, those of you who have dishonored and mocked me, you who have brought hatred and blasphemy against my name throughout the world, for these things my vengeance draws closer. As my children, those who have worshipped me with all their hearts, I will fight before them. I will give them victory and safety. I will separate those who have worshipped me from those who have not, as I separated Goshen and Egypt." I tried to read it one more time, but I could not. The writing was gathered into the scroll. The noise of the engines grew even louder. The man beside me turned to me and said, "These are the planes, loaded with atom bombs, and no one and nothing will be able to stop them." Then, suddenly, a great number of black planes lifted off the ground like a flock of birds. I knew the planes were American, but I had no knowledge of their purpose or what they were supposed to do. Then the written scroll was thrown before me. I stepped closer to pick it up, and when I drew near, I saw that it burned with a blue flame. The flame began to climb into the sky, and as I looked at the flame, I heard a voice coming from it saying, "My word is righteous. I am the Christ who has brought you this news. Do not be quiet. Tell the American people all that I have told you, and all that I revealed to you ahead of time. For the destruction which is coming over them, I did not allow to come unannounced. The punishment is even at the door." The man beside me spoke again, "Look up." When I looked up, I could not see the sky because there were so many planes. Then the man said to me, "Thank the Lord for what he has shown you." Then I began to pray and thank God. While I was praying, I heard a prophecy for myself. "Get ready and sanctify yourself, you and yours." This is talking to us, okay? "That you and yours may not take part in the trials that are ahead. This is why I have shown you these things. I have shown you what is to come in a short while. All that you have seen is at the door, because the sin and the wickedness have reached this throne of God's mercy. Then there was great lightning and thunder. I fell to the ground, and I was awakened from my sleep. Then let's go to the next one. This is the first of three final messages given to Dmitri in 1997 before his death. I've spoken to you as a father speaks to his own children. I've shown you what will be, that you may prepare your hearts and strengthen your spirits for the day of battle. Dark days are coming soon upon the earth, days of mourning and great sadness. I tarry for those that seek me with pure heart. I give strength to those who seek me continually. The lawless one has been prepared, and he is ready to reveal himself. He awaits his release. He will come with a lying tongue and deceiving words. I will protect my own. I will deliver them out of the clutches of the enemy. Those that will be strong unto the end, those who will be called to be living testimonies, in other words, give their life for Jesus, for my name's sake, will receive the crown of life. Let righteousness be your banner, and my word be your guide. Be rooted in the truth as the dawn comes to chase away the night. So will the darkness rule only for its allotted time. Be strong in the knowledge that I protect and watch over all who are mine. Now, I read this because I want you to feel the Spirit so that you'll be able to recognize those things that are not of God by recognizing and knowing what is. Let's go on to the next one. Second of three final messages, April 1997, Dumitru Duduman. I was on a large plain. It seemed to go on forever. I couldn't see the edges, but I know I was somewhere very high. The clouds seemed so close to where I stood as if it reached out. I could see this plain covered with beautiful grass that was all the same height. The sky was calm and beautiful. There was a feeling of peace in this place. There were no buildings, trees, flowers, just the earth and sky. As I continued to look around, I saw a change in the sky. The clouds began to roll to the sides, and I saw a city come down from the clouds. It continued to descend until it reached the ground where I stood. I was amazed by what I saw, and I began to study it intently. I've traveled the world a lot, but I have never seen anything like what I was seeing. The entire structure was so beautiful, it took your breath away. It was all white, and it shone so brightly that one could barely look at it. It was so large that if I stood at one corner and looked to see the other end, I could not. As I was trying to find an entrance to the place, I studied the walls and couldn't make out what they were built from. It seemed as if it was built as a whole, all from one giant mass. There were no bricks, no cracks, no walls. There was no mortar. As I stood to my left, there was a building that was very tall. Smaller buildings continued along the wall. It seemed like the entire city was one roof. Although the buildings were different, they were connected between themselves. As I continued to look, I saw the stairs that led to an entrance, and they shone brighter than anything I've seen. They were gigantic as the wall that surrounded the city. No one would be able to force their way into this place. I don't know what sort of material it was built from, but I got the impression that those inside could see outside. Wanting to find out what waited inside, I began to climb the stairs. I didn't get very far because I heard a powerful voice drown out everything else saying, "Stop." Even if I had wanted to continue walking, I could not. It was as if I was paralyzed. Tell my people that their worship toward me must not be out of fear. Now you see why I'm reading this. We all need to hear this one. Their worship toward me must not be out of fear, but out of love. Of what use will it be to be of them if I would tell them when the final hour will strike? What they must do is worship wholeheartedly. I've already sent them a guide. They have my word. In my word, it has already been revealed that I will come as a thief in the night. Tell them that concern over tomorrow should not be found in them. They must be faithful and fight the good fight. Love me as I have loved them, living in love. Behold, the destruction is fast approaching, but I will not hesitate to be protector for my chosen. Those that sow mercy shall receive mercy from me. Tell my people not to worry about the seasons, but meditate on how they will stand before me. Urge them to prepare for the day when I will show my power. Look, when I turned, I saw a small child that was trying to climb the stairs. He kept trying, but because he was too small, he could never make it up to the next step. His laughter, however, echoed throughout like a bell. Even though he kept falling, he showed no signs of sadness, but just kept trying. Did I not leave you this parable as an example? In other words, we should be like the child. Though we can never be like Jesus, we should always be striving to be like Jesus. Dumitru Duduman, 1989. He said, I was staying with a pastor in Oregon, and I woke about 1 a.m. in the morning, and I couldn't find my Danny, my hired interpreter. I woke up the pastor, and neither of us could find him, and I told the pastor to go to his room and pray, and I would also pray. We asked God to show us where Danny was, and God revealed to me that he was at a bar. I cried to God and said, God, I can't work with a wicked man. I went down and told the pastor that God revealed to me that Danny was at a bar. As we were talking, God gave me a vision. And that's what happened to me, too. I was in the middle of a sentence. I saw trees and houses and the ground all explode in fire. I heard a voice saying, Dumitru, quick, get on the mountain or you will burn. I looked and then I saw a very tall mountain. The bottom half had trees and the top was bare. I started climbing the mountain. I called out from my family. Michael was having a hard time climbing the mountain. And I went and helped him up the mountain. The climb was very difficult. I noticed that from out of the fire came all kinds of people trying to climb the mountain. The children ran up the mountain quickly and easily. Some of the people could climb using the trees, but when there were no more trees, they fell back into the fire. The climb was difficult. At times, we had to crawl and pull each other up. We finally reached the top of the mountain. An angel came to me and said, come with me. I will show you what it'll be like when America burns. He took me down to the backyard of the pastor's house. All around me, the trees and the houses were just exploding. Fire erupted from the ground. The natural gas pipes exploded. He said, this is what it would be like when America burns. Then he continued, do you know what the mountain is? I said, no. He said, the mountain is Jesus. He said, then, do you know why the children went up the mountain so fast? No. He answered, because they have no sin. Then he said, do you know who the people were who made it halfway up the mountain but fell back into the fire? No. They are the people who backslid away from Jesus. Then the vision ended. I was back standing in front of the pastor once again. When it will happen? So many people were asking, when is this going to happen? When will the bombs hit America? So Dumitru prayed and asked God, what do I tell them? They keep asking me, when it's going to happen? That night the angel came to me, touched me on the hand and said, Dumitru, wake up, sit up, get your Bible. You tell them to read Hosea 4:6. My people are destroyed from a lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. That thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing that thou hast forgotten the law of thy God, I will also forget thy children. As they were increased, so they sinned against me. Therefore will I change their glory into shame. They eat up the sin of my people, and they set their heart on iniquity. And there shall be, like people, like priests, and I will punish them for their ways and reward them their doing. Then he said, now turn to Hosea 6:1. Come, let us return unto the Lord, for he is torn, and he will heal us. He has smitten, and he will bind us up. After 2 days will he revive us. In the third day who will raise us up, we shall live in his sight. Then shall we know that if we follow on to know the Lord, his going forth is prepared as the morning, and he shall come to us as the rain, as the latter and the former rain onto the earth. You tell the people of America that 1 day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is 1 day. If they will repent and turn back to God, they will make it to the 2,000-year mark, as in they will make it to the year that Jesus returned. Don't try to calculate it up, okay? If they do not, they will not make it to the 2,000th year. Now, I think I've run out of time, but I encourage you to get this book, God's Warnings to America. God's Warnings to America. 1 for $20, don't do that. Get a shrink wrap set of 5. Like the Secret Door comes, they all come in shrink wrap sets. All of them available at prophecyclub.com. So the book that I've been reading from is this one. All of the text I've been reading is all in this, but this is just one listing. It's just Dumitru Duduman. You get all of these people, all of the very powerful dreams and visions. Now you may be saying, well, how does that help us to be able to spot the genuine from the fake? Because when you see the genuine, that's how you can spot the fake. As a matter of fact, what is the Secret Service? When they go to teach people how to recognize fake dollar bills, what they do is teach them all about the genuine. When they know the genuine, what the genuine $1, $5, 10, when they recognize the genuine, they know what the genuine bill looks like, then they can spot the counterfeit. So when you hear what real prophets that are really hearing from God, what they sound like, then you'll say, helps you to be able to spot. No, that's not good. It doesn't sound like Dumitru. It doesn't sound like these other people. So I'm going to toss it out. Now, along with that, I recommend you get my book, Secret Door to Understand Bible Prophecy. And you've heard this story. I memorized the book of Revelation. I got 30 revelations, 2 visions, and an audible voice. And God showed me one of the visions that there's a word, a secret word, that links the feasts of Leviticus 23 to the prophecies in the book of Revelation. So they can, for once, maybe for the first time, be put in the correct chronological order. All of the prophecies. And in the back of the book are all of these charts. Okay, you get all of these charts back here. This is the last 7 years. This is the last 7 months. All of these charts, and the book explains it. Now, the other books have those charts, but they don't explain it. This is the book. If you want to understand Bible prophecy, right here. I don't know of a better book. All right, now on to the next one. This is, of the 4 books I've written, this is the most popular. It's a quick read, like 3 hours you can read through this whole book. And this is designed to be able to give to someone that's an atheist or not a Christian, or, maybe they don't want to be a Christian, maybe they're worship another God. But if you can get them to read just a few pages, they will probably read the whole book. They read the whole book, and they will never take the mark of the beast. Inside this book, it shows them what the mark of the beast is. That's off to the left in yellow, and the number of these beasts, which is off to the red in the right. Next book is Daniel. Tribulation Secrets in Daniel. It's not all of Daniel, but I explain the part. Someone that all of a sudden discovers themselves living in the tribulation. What do you need to know? And it's all in this book. And then this book explains the truth about the rapture, how pre-trib won. And it's also shrink wrap sets of 20 for $50 or 10 of them for $30. The best deal is go to prophecyclub.com and get this. This is 40 bucks. In other words, you get 10, 10, 5, 10, 5, okay? All of those books, 40 of them valued at $800, all for a gift of $100 at prophecyclub.com.